So, yeah, you can turn that off. I need that Tony Robbins headset so we can walk around. So first of all, I had a whole thing written here about how far you came to get here, and that's always a good thing. It always shows not more dedication than that. It just shows getting on an airplane and coming here is not fun. And there's two other people. Where's Michelle and Tracy? Huntington. What a terrible drive. Since you're from that area, thank you so much for coming up here. Just brutal. So, Tracy came up here and made a bunch of comments about how we got here and such. And I'll cover a little bit of those from a male perspective. And one of the things, and Jason's a classic example. I work with him down at, well, I did. He works for the same fire department. He just left me. Promoted, congratulations. But I was trying to think. Tracy said, the only way to fail at this is to quit, right? And so I was trying to think of things like, what else works if you just fail and you quit? The only thing I could think of was an escalator, right? An escalator fails, it becomes stairs, but it's still not really that good. So you can think of something else that goes. Truly, if you stop working, it just doesn't work. If you're designed for that task and you want to work and you want to strive, if you keep at it, it will happen. Okay? So what I'm going to try and do here is, Tracy's giving me about 3 minutes, but I'm going to take over an hour. What we're going to do is, we'll keep this short, but I also want to make it meaningful, and I want to make it from really a guy's perspective of what's going on here. So another person I want to recognize, and I don't see him here. Where's Ken? Ken Little. There he is, right here. This guy right here, him and I used to wander around and drink all the time. Both him and I were about 70 proof all the time. The past couple of months, this guy has lost 28 pounds, and I think he was already down from that point. One of the things I've learned is that the longer I live, the longer I want to live. And I look at Ken and the shape he's getting in now and the longevity that he'll have on his body and such. So I say congratulations, bud. You look awesome. It's hard. When I used to go out there and have those vegetables, bacon, and things like that, and it just doesn't, it's hard to change those standards. And people say, what diet are you doing? He's not doing a diet. And Tracy tells me I have an at-risk chin. I don't know what that means. It's not a diet, it's really a lifestyle. So, I'll change. I'll be a better representative. So, how many guys are in this room today that are not doing our run? They got dragged here for kind of the first time. Jason's one of those examples. Got dragged here for kind of the first time. Well, this whole thing, perfect, right there. So this whole thing is kind of geared, the reason I get up here, it's kind of geared to the cynical male who got dragged into this program and was told to come here today to sit around and hopefully squeeze an easy cocktail out of me or something, or a beer or something. I'll buy it for you. Not a problem. But to hear what is going on in this place. And so it is hard from a male perspective. When Tracy first told me she was doing this, I was sitting in my favorite chair at home, and I'm reading through this sheet of paper that she's left there. And I forget whether it was networking or network marketing or some of the literature that was left there, whatever. So I'm reading through it, and I'm trying to figure out what she's trying to do here. Does she want something? And her birthday's coming up, so I look at the watch. No, not her birthday, not Mother's Day, nothing's coming up here. Does she want to get involved in something? So I stand up, I flush, and then I go and cynicism starts dropping. I look at this thing and I say, okay, well, what do we have for money? So Tracy says, well, there's no layout of cash. We just have to get a couple people. So I've got 3 outstanding clients already. I got my mom, your mom, and my sister-in-law. So now what happens when they're done and they've purchased everything they want? Where does it go from there? Well, we sell more to other people. Okay, great. So then Tracy got another client. Then we get this paycheck, and just like Mindy's husband, Rick, was saying it was $17. And I'm like, wonderful. Now I can stop drinking Pabst and get Sam out. $17. So then she says, you know what, I promise you that every month we're going to go by 10%. Wonderful. $18.25 rolled in the next working what's called a SAW day, overtime day. I can stop working these overtime days. At the time, I was working down the South Central. Not the best drive to work, not the best scenery once you get there, but we did it. We worked through that. So now she's making this amount of money. She's going to go up by 10%. Then she reaches region. I said, no, this thing's not too bad. So we start looking and reshuffling our lives and how they're going to happen. Then we start getting the national vice president. Then we start looking at EMV and I said, well, so now, you know, Dennis and Vicki shelled out a lot of cash for her to go to Cal Lu, and she's not using that degree for a business job to sit in a cubicle, to go to work each day from 8 to 5 and sit in a little cubicle. Who's going to be mad about this? And the answer is nobody. Because Tracy is killing it now, so is Mindy, so is Tracy Dyer, so is anybody else in the room that keeps climbing through this business. It's unbelievable. I don't have anything sitting in my garage. I don't have anybody that extorted money from me to go to some real estate option school or whatever. I don't have any of those things that happen. And Tracy is a very successful business lady that's running an $8 million company. So one of the things we look at here, what are the three opponents that you have? Your first opponent you're going to have is your cynical spouse. Okay? I don't mean to be sexist, but the majority of the people selling the product in the room are females. Okay? There's guys out here that are doing very well as well, but for the most part, the spouses, the guys, the cynical guys who have no time for, they watched all the infomercials, and maybe they've fallen for a thing or two, you know, and so they're going to be cynical. So that's your first opponent. So you got to overcome that hurdle, right? The next opponent you have is the customer, right? The customer that's out there, and you're telling them, hey, I'm not trying to sell you a bench made out of old water skis or anything. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm selling you a product. You already wash your face. You already wash your hair. I'm telling you to change your lifestyle. Use something that isn't going to, you know, cause problems with your health down the road. So the other person is your customer, right? That's your other problem. Your third is yourself. And I'll tell you why, right? I'll give you a sip of water. So the next person is yourself. I never thought Tracy would be a business owner and a psychologist. But I hear the psychology that happens on that phone every day for people that aren't yet fully believing in themselves. And she has to sit there and influence people. It's getting easier for her because she's starting to understand how to hit these angles. So she's becoming that psychologist to help the rest of the people on her team achieve those goals. So those three opponents is, first of all, your spouse. Get them on board. Tell them to call me. I'm in. Let's sit down. We'll have a couple beers, gluten-free, dietary. We'll talk about it. Next up is that customer. Tracy will walk you through the process, or whoever your upline is on the process of how to overcome that. But the third is yourself. Believe in yourself. You're a business owner. Okay, it's a good deal. Believe in yourself. You don't need a brick and mortar business to do this. One of the things I do is I work for the credit union, for the Firefighters First Credit Union. And, you know, billion-dollar organization, and we look at people all the time that come in with a business plan, and they want a brick and mortar building. They want to buy a building in a strip mall, and they want to sell widgets. And we're thinking, God, man, how hard is that? You got to pay rent each month. You got to pay triple net to fix the roof. You got to buy this product and have it on hand. Brutal business. And I look at that, and I look at my wife and everybody else in the room that's part of this business. What an outstanding opportunity. You have a business that can grow to the nth degree. Look at Cecilia. Just unbelievable. To the nth degree that you can do this business, and you don't have a brick and mortar building. You're not tied by anybody. Tracy sits out there on the boat, and I'm out there at the middle of Castaic dragging one of the kids behind the boat. So she's yelling, cut it, and we're not stopping because Tracy's on the phone running a business. You can run this business for many years, so it's outstanding. So one of the terms that we use in the fire department or in the military, I was never in the military, but I'll talk to you about the military stuff in a second. But on the fire department is stay the course. Okay, and that's what I'm asking you to do here. If you have any questions about yourself or doubts in yourself, stay the course. It's defined simply as to pursue a goal regardless of obstacles or challenges. Okay? For those in the room that are national or regional positions, congratulations on your success and stay the course. Lead the way for others and upcomers that are counting on you. Okay? So when Tracy asked me the other day, I don't read much off this stuff, so I'm struggling a bit because I only wrote it once in bullet points. But Tracy asked me the other day, now I'm an EMVP. Now what do I do? I kept striving and striving. Like I reached my captain level, but my goal is to be assistant chief of the department, so I'm still striving to get to that point. Tracy reached her EMVP. So now where does she go from this point? And the answer is simple. It's that what defines a good leader is how many people underneath you, or how many people that want, or underneath you, I guess that's a correct term, that are underneath you want to reach the same potential as you. That defines you as a good leader. So these titles, it's wonderful, these titles and the money that comes in there, This is a family organization, so I tell my wife to stay the course, and anybody that's underneath her that would like to achieve that level, that's your goal now, shepherd those people along that path, right? For those in the room that are area managers or districts, staying the course and provide that leadership and trust in your teams, trust yourself, trust the people that are working underneath you that just got on as consultants and such that are looking for guidance. Okay? And for those, and lastly, anybody in the room that's here for the first time considering putting their toe in the water of that Arbonne pool, you're among driven and dedicated and a great family of people that are trying to suck you away from an 8 to 5 job and trying to give you that freedom to spend more time with your family and make that money that you want to make. Okay? One of the things that Tracy and I are kind of passionate about is foundations. There are a few foundations we've gotten involved in over time. One of the foundations I'm involved in, the Red Circle Foundation. What we do, it's military-based, and what we do only is take care of special operators. Okay, so we're talking SEAL Team, Delta, Airborne, parajumpers, things like that. And that's where my influence goes. There's tons of wounded warrior programs out there, tons of people doing good work. Special operations community, I've kind of always thought that when a special ops guy, because we've got 2 members of our family that are both in the SEAL teams, when those folks ask for help, they need it. There's some issues going on because they've never asked for help before. Okay? So I got involved in this program and just took the position of chairman of the board of the Red Circle Foundation. And what we are is 100% donation foundation. Is that the word? Donation foundation. What we do, what I mean by 100% donation, a lot of people say that we're 100%. What we do is we look for 2 types of money. We look for corporate money. We look for big business to come in there and say, hey, how much is your executive director per year? And say, what, 70, 150,000, whatever the executive director is making now. I don't make that judge as the board of directors. But say there's $70,000. So we had Oakley last year. Oakley came in and said, we'll pay that for 3 years. We'll give you an MOU, memorandum of understanding, for 3 years. We will pay your director for 3 years, but we're not going to give you a penny towards the cost. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. And then I go to people like Jason Schickel or Ken or whoever else in the room, and I say, hey, we're putting on this foundation thing. I got a Navy SEAL operator that died in the field. I got his son that wants to go to football camp. I'm asking him for $100. And Jason says, sure, not a problem. Well, that money goes directly in, and it goes directly passed out of that back to the field. Not 1 penny goes back into operating costs. Because when you get operating costs, in my opinion, not to be a cynical, you're a-hole, person about it, but when you start providing people a ton of money and the business grows, CEOs want more money to run that, and in my opinion, that's not fair in the foundation. So we set those costs, and then when you donate money to this, then we're able to put those monies right back out into the field. So what Red Circle Foundation does, primarily takes care of SEAL operators, Delta, parajumpers, and such that come home from the field, and they're not the person they were when they left. They're missing limbs, they're damaged beyond recognition, whatever it may be, but primarily we're taking care of their families because they did not come home. So any childhood enrichment programs, any college scholarships, things like that, that's what our operating monies go into. So on September 7th of 2001, Tracy and I stood, teary-eyed. So in 2000, on September 7th of 2001, Tracy stood up there, Tracy and I stood up there on top of the South Tower and looked out, and they call it the Navy Big Eyes, and we put our 50 cents in, and we looked out at the telescope and looked at New York, and then we came, what's that? Oh, sorry, South Tower, the World Trade Centers. So it was September 7th, and then we went down from there. Anybody who's been there, there was a huge mall underneath those things, so we went shopping down the mall, and then we left from there and went back up to New Hampshire where my father lived, and then we went down to Boston to fly home on Flight 93, and came into LAX. 4 days later, Twin Towers are knocked down, whatever. So I've always had kind of an interest. It's always been kind of heartfelt that we flew home on the flight from Boston that crashed, or on those Twin Towers. Just a shame, and it chokes me up that so we're trying to do a good thing. So I've got Red Circle Foundation stuff over here. I'd like to talk to you about the organization as much as you'd like. It's sitting on the table over here, and that bucket right there, what we're looking for is donations to come in. And if anybody has a corporation or a big business that they would like to put money into, we'd love to talk to you. If today your wallet's a little too heavy and it's hurt your back because you're sitting on a little bit sideways, we're looking for cash. Okay, my cards are up there. I'd love to talk to you about the foundation. There's sheets in there to fill out, and you can donate money and keep the receipt. It's your 501c3 established business. We'd love to have your donation from that. If you'd like to give cash, you don't want to fill out one of those sheets, you can take a picture of your ID and send it to my phone number. If you'd like my phone number, I'll give it to you now, but it's also on those business cards up there. Please take one. All foundations are looking for money. When the economy took a dump, everybody pulled their money back out of foundations, and these foundations are slowly rebuilding themselves. We are an established business. You can look online, check us out. This is not me just trying to get your money. We're doing good work out there. When Chris Bell got shot, he was a friend of my brother-in-law. When he got shot and died, we raised over $1 million for his cause. We're doing good work out there. We're with a lot of kids from camps and such, so doing good work. So sorry for the emotion on it. Just